What's going on? What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Get ready for another episode of Unpopular Opinion. I'm your host, Grant Jefe, joined as always by my co-host, OG Raw in Washington. How you doing, bro?
Man, it's been a great day. Good morning. How you doing on that side of the world?
I'm doing good. It's hot. And it's always good, man, when unexpected things happen. But before we get started, music by DJ Drip No Slip. If you want to follow him, Instagram at major_drip with 2 P's, major_drip with 2 P's. And before we get started, I just want to thank you guys for tuning into the podcast. However you downloading the podcast, Spotify, Apple iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, Breaker, Spreaker, however you listen to it on YouTube as well. We thank you. We welcome you to the podcast. Appreciate you guys for taking time out your day to vibe with us. Now, we had some interesting news come out the NFL these last 24, 36 hours. So let's hop right into it, man. The NFL is worried about the integrity of the game. So being that they are worried about that, in the offseason, they're set to being able to review PI calls in certain instances. Do you think that this is a good thing for the league, or do you think this is a bad thing for the league?
Man, the NFL is finally growing up. I think this is a great thing for the league. Just because you said certain instances. So maybe you're making in critical moments of the game, let's say, just like that Saints and Rams game where, there's a clear PI call. Maybe you give the coach, a couple flags or something, to challenge calls on the field as far as penalty calls. And I think this could be great for this game because, once you give that power to someone other than the officials, I think this levels the playing field when it comes to making bad calls or good calls.
Yeah, I'm right there with you, man. I talked about this yesterday with Mike, and he brung up about all the other missed calls, but there's a level of significance in winning time. They make that call, that game is over with. They get to run the clock out. They don't have to kick a field goal with a minute and 45 seconds left and give the balls back to the Rams. They can just run out the time. So I'm right there with the NFL. About time that now it's still yet to be to know whether or not they will do it. They will implement this rule, but it's good that they actually looking at it instead of just turning a blind eye saying, yeah, it is what it is. Because yes, I like the human aspect of it, but we need to get calls right. And that's why we got the replay system. We got the replay system so we can get calls right, not just let bad calls be bad calls. So kudos to the NFL. I hope they do the right thing in the offseason and that is rule in favor that in certain instances, which is probably be the final 2 minutes and all that other stuff, you will be able to review certain penalties and certain calls that could impact the game drastically.
Yeah, and another thing about, them doing this, man, because, after that Saints game, a lot of people
are mad, bro.
A lot of people are mad. And I'm pretty sure we're going to talk about this lawsuit that's coming up. So this will avoid a lot of problems from what we're having now and what we're seeing throughout, the league and from the Saints fans and from the Saints team and Roger Goodell. He has to get it together now. This is a moment for him where he has to grab the bull by the horns and take care of this right now.
Yeah, all eyes is going to be on Roger Goodell this offseason. And speaking of that lawsuit, this is from Darren Rovell, ESPN, a really highly talented guy for ESPN or NFL Network. He tweeted this out about at 8:53 this morning, and he says, breaking, attorney Frank D'Amico says he has filed a civil suit in New Orleans on behalf of the Saints season ticket holders to make the right call and bring back both teams to replay the end of the game. So do you think that this is going to go anywhere, or do you think they just spinning their wheels?
They're just spinning wheels at this point. I believe you can't do anything about it this year. I mean that the call was blown. The call was blown. You know, you can't just go back and say you guys got to replay that 2 minutes, that last final 2 minutes of that game. That is just baloney to me right now. You know, but we can go into next season with a new rule change. You know, where a coach maybe has a little more power to challenge a PI call or a non-PI call. We can do that though. That is something that is progression towards going the right way. So Saints, I'm sorry, but you guys got to take this on the head.
Yeah, I'm there, bro. Like I think they're spinning their wheels as well. Fire your silver suit, but you can't make them. First off, you can't make the NFL do anything. You don't have that power. You know, you don't have. Roger Goodell has the power because the players gave him that kind of power. So, you know, to say that, yeah, you filing it on behalf of the people that the season ticket holders. What about the people that's not ticket holders, season ticket holders? What about the people that just went to the game? Are they entitled to get their money back as well, or are they entitled to have the game replayed? So it's not just for the ticket holders. But I'm right there with you. Hold this L this year. It sucks. We all know you got screwed, but for Roger Goodell to do something right now about it, that I think that's unlikely. If anything, at the start of the season, when new rules can be implemented, I don't like implementing rules in the middle of seasons. And Roger Goodell has never, or the NFL has never, changed incomes or outcomes of games, you know, just because one team felt that they got screwed over. So I definitely think it's, yeah.
And if we look at it too, the Saints got the ball first in overtime, man.
Yeah.
You know, so they basically had a chance to win that game again. You know what I'm saying? Like they had a chance to win that game. They got that ball in overtime first. So,
which is the reason why the Rams were able to kick a field goal and win the game.
Exactly. So I just think, yeah, it's just a little too much right now, but I do believe their situation will pave the way for like new rules and new calls and stuff like that. Because right now the Saints they should just chill out, you know, hold this L and be a pioneer in the future for you know, challenging the PI calls and stuff like that.
Well said, bro. Moving on to another topic, man, for another NFC team. There's been reports coming out from the Philly.com website. You know, I can't think of the reporter name right now, but he has unnamed teammates of Carson Wentz saying that he's selfish, that he's used to people kissing his A, and he don't take accountability. He's not a good leader. Now, since then, Fletcher Cox has came out and said that Carson Wentz is a good leader. Zach Ertz has came out and said he's a good leader. Lane Johnson has came out and said he's a good leader. Do you think that this story is true, that Carson Wentz is not a good leader and he wants everything his way and he never takes accountability for anything?
I think that story is absolutely false. Like, you know, some people, they just report just to report. Just trying to get a story, just trying to break some news. Especially with the drama going around in Philly about, you know, with their quarterback controversy. To me, when I look at Carson Wentz on the sideline and Nick Foles is playing, he's out there cheering that man on because Carson Wentz knows he has the easiest job in the NFL. Like, he really
I
does.
knew you was going to go there. I knew it.
He has the easiest job in the NFL. There's no reason for him not to go out there and be a great leader. There's no reason for him to want people to kiss his butt when he's sitting on the bench, you know, every season that he's played. Yeah, in crunch time and when it really matters, he's on the bench. So for someone to call him a bad leader, I just can't see it. I just don't know how they can do that. Like, how can you call someone a bad leader that's not even being a leader? Like, they're not even leading nothing. Like, you're leading the charge from the sideline. Good job, man. Like, come on, dog. Like,
hey, I'm with you, but I'm on the other side of this, bro. And let me tell you why I'm on the other side of this. And I could be wrong. I'm not saying this is right because, you know, we all talking about what ifs here. But when there's smoke, there's fire. And for this to come out, some of it may not be true. But I believe there's a portion of this that's true. And let me tell you why. Man, those Eagle fans wanted Nick Foles to be the guy. They wanted this man to be the guy. You know, and I just find it hard. Normally when reports come out, they come out for a reason. Now, I can get it. It can all be smoke and mirrors. And this guy, like you said, because guys do it all the time. These reporters do it all the time. They want to be first on the story or they want to get their name out there on the biggest topic. Because now what this does, now this brings attention to him because he's the one that reported it. Mm-hmm. And I get that. But you said it. He's on the field and he's off the field in crunch time while Nick Foles is out there winning. And if we know anything about quarterbacks, we know these are some of the most fragile, most sensitive guys in the entire locker room. You know, the reports came out in Pittsburgh why Antonio Brown is having trouble with Big Ben because he said Big Ben is selfish, because he said Big Ben don't take accountability, because he said everybody always takes Big Ben's side and he never takes accountability. So what make you think this ain't true about Carson Wentz? I mean, maybe.
The difference is Carson Wentz ain't freaking playing. Big Ben, on the other hand, he goes out and plays every Sunday. So that's the difference to me. You can't be one of those players that's selfish when you ain't playing. I'll tell you, go sit on that bench in a heartbeat.
That's true.
I was the coach, or
that's
if I
true.
was another player, if you don't sit down.
But you know who I haven't heard from? I haven't heard from Doug Peterson. I haven't heard from Jeffrey Lurie. I haven't heard anything from the people that really matter because we know in the locker room, and I'm a Florida State fan, but I know from reports coming out of Tallahassee that some of these guys don't like DeAndre Francois. They think he's a bad leader. You know, Willie Taggart, the head coach, came out and said this guy's he's basically a bad leader. And I seen when James Blackman came into the game or started in place of DeAndre Francois against NC State, how the team responded to him. And there's something about how your team responds to a person because that shows how much they respect a person. And the team clearly responds better to Nick Foles. Now, I will say this. Go ahead.
So I'll tell you this, though. Doug Peterson and that Eagle organization, they're in like uncharted territory right now. And I say this because you're about to
they just gave him $1 million too.
And now and you just gave that man $1 million and you're about to lose Nick Foles. So with Carson Wentz, you can't just come out and say he's a bad leader because now that's your quarterback.
Yep.
Right? That is your quarterback. So you need
him to be on his
no matter what. Yeah, you need him to be, that stable individual and to be able to lead a team. So I doubt you will hear anything from Doug Peterson and that Eagles organization other than, the star players on that team. They'll come out to defend his honor, but I don't see the head coach coming out saying anything about this. I don't see, the GM or the president coming out and saying anything about the situation just because, Carson Wentz is now their quarterback. They don't have Nick Foles to lean on if, Carson Wentz decides to get upset.
I will say this, though. I will say this. We tend to, not we, I guess we could say we. The people in the media tend to think because you're the best player, you're the leader of the team. That's not necessarily true. Just because Carson Wentz may be their best player, out of the people that they have, I think it's probably safe to say maybe out of him and Jason Peters, but Jason Peters is getting old now. He's been hurt a lot. Just because you're the best player or just because you're the quarterback, that don't make you a leader, So he may be a bad leader, but he's probably not the leader. I think we just give that title because he's the quarterback, because, he's the guy calling the plays, and he's the guy that get the praise when they win and the blame when they lose. But just because you're the best player don't necessarily make you the leader of a team. So I think some of these reports is probably true, but in every locker room, you got guys that rock with certain people and you got guys that don't rock with certain people. So maybe this came from one of the people that he really don't rock with, and it could be hate. Could be hate.
And And it could have came from Alshon Jeffrey not
Could.
catch himself. It could have came from him. Maybe he was still upset after that loss to the Saints. Ain't no telling. Alshon Jeffrey, he's a really different person. I wouldn't put it past him. He's a traitor. He left the Bears. So Alshon Jeffrey, I think this is you.
Who knows who it could be from? Because they didn't put their name on it, which is what I don't like. Because if you're gonna be a big boy and you're gonna talk about somebody behind their back, put your name on it, man. But I can understand why he didn't, or these players, because from the reports there were several players. They didn't put their name on it because they also have to feed their families, and they know what that can. They know what rabbit hole they're gonna go down. Because like you just said, they're gonna lose Nick Foles. This their quarterback. And I don't see Doug Peterson having that kind of talk coming out of his locker room, and people not putting names. Or did they put their names on it? They will be gone. I fully believe that. So I can understand why they didn't. But if you're gonna be a big boy and you're gonna say something about somebody, put your name on it. Put your name to it. Moving over to the AFC, one of the teams that's in the Super Bowl, the New England Patriots. It's been to 9 Super Bowls in 19 years. They really should be America's team, instead of the Dallas Cowboys. But that's another topic for another debate. Is the New England Patriots, this dynasty, is this the greatest dynasty ever?
I think it's one of the greatest dynasties ever. If they win this Super Bowl, man, we got to put them as, number 2, number 1 greatest dynasty ever. And the only dynasty I have in front of him are the Russell Celtics. That's the only one I have in front of him. But even then, I think, the Patriots, they have overcame more.
Yeah, and it wasn't a lot of teams back then in those days.
Yeah, it wasn't a lot of teams back then. But, you can't 11 championships, But, yeah, I really do think if they win the Super Bowl, man, we got to put them as number 1. Just because, man, that's so hard to do in the NFL. And if you look at the Patriots, they never have
marginal talent
year in and year out. Yeah, that roster's always changing, and for them to do it with just the players that they have, they don't go out and seek no one. They tried Josh Gordon, and you can see where that got them. Josh Gordon is back in rehab or doing whatever he does, man. I don't know what's wrong with that guy, but. Yeah, so we look at all this stuff that they do, man, with marginal talent, like you said, and they're able to get the job done. Yo, that's one of the greatest dynasties ever. If they would,
yeah, I'm right there with you. I got them at number 2 right now, and although it's 32 teams in the league right now, and it's super super hard to do, and and the talent level of athletes that's in the NFL right now is unbelievable, man. You got guys 6'6", 200, almost 300 pounds. They're running 4.5s and 4.6s. Jadeveon Clowney, this guy's 6'5", 290, and he ran a 4.4.
Running a 4.3?
This is insane. But like you, 11 championships, bro. Like I don't care who you playing, man. You could be playing little leaguers. You're gonna get. There's a chance for you to slip up. There's a chance for that. So for me, I think they're right there at number 2. What they've done is nothing shy of spectacular. It's been truly amazing, man. And I know I talk about Brady a lot, but man, what this guy does, man, year in and year out. This guy's 41 years old. He's 41 years old, and he's out dueling 20-something-year-olds. It's truly amazing. Bill Belichick, the turnover that he's had on his staff to get back to another Super Bowl. Brady, receiver in, receiver out. Gronk hurt. This guy suspended. Rookie running back. Different running back every single year. Different defensive guys every single year. And it seemed like it does not affect him.
And Matt Patricia, he was a part of that Belichick staff. He was the defensive coordinator, I believe. Yeah. He's the defensive coordinator over there. And then he leaves after that Super Bowl loss to go to the Lions.
Yep.
Right? So here's my theory. Because we never talk about this Malcolm Butler thing, right? Yeah, this Michael Butler thing. So Matt Patricia was like, "Nah, I'm not starting Michael Butler." There. Belichick's like, "Why? Why you gonna start him?" It's like, man, he was like, "Just trust me." All right, Belichick was like, "All right, do your thing. You the defensive coordinator." Anyway, they go out there. Defense get walked all over, especially on the side Michael Butler's supposed to be on.
Your boy was killing them. Jeffries.
Old Jeffrey. And, so they get destroyed. And then after the game, Belichick like, "What's up, man? Why Michael Butler ain't get in?" He was like, "Man, I just thought something
I just thought something different.
I thought something different." He's like, "You're gone. Hey, you're gone after this."
Michael Butler got a raw deal in that Super Bowl that just, and they really never really specified why he was out. They just said violating team rules or something like that, but just what Belichick and them has been able to do, man. 9 Super Bowl appearances in 19 years. That's like going to a Super Bowl every other year. That's insane, bro. Like what they've been able to do.
What is it?
Huh?
They won 4 out of the last 5 years.
Well,
like that.
last year they lost to the Eagles. The year before that they beat the Falcons. The year before the last time they went out before that they beat the Seahawks, and then they lost to the Giants. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's like 4 out of the last 6 years. I think
they won their first
like
2. They beat the Raiders. They beat the Panthers. They beat the Rams, and then they lost 2 to the Giants back to back, and then they beat the Seahawks, and then they beat the Falcons, and then they just lost to the Eagles. So yeah, man, this dynasty, bro. This is truly, amazing to see as a sports fan, because it's not like they're just dominating. They're just
we'll never see anything like this again. So for the people that the haters, the naysayers, man,
just enjoy it. This ain't like the Warriors to me, honestly.
Enjoy it.
This is different from the Warriors, the way the Warriors put their team together. This is Bill Belichick and Tom Brady at their best, saying, "Come beat us. Don't matter who we got, but you got to come see us in the playoffs." And that's never an easy thing to see Brady and Belichick in the playoffs. It seems like it never gets old. So yeah, I'm right there with you. I got the Celtics right there, slightly above the New England Patriots, but I think the New England Patriots could make a push if they win another Super Bowl and Brady get his 6th. That'll just be, in football. That's unbelievable, man. That's truly unbelievable. Switching gears, MELO got traded by the Houston Rockets yesterday to the Bulls. The trade didn't go down officially yesterday. The trade went down today. They were going to wait to process it because it was the holiday yesterday. But it is reported from Adrian Wojnarowski of ESPN that the Bulls are planning to release Carmelo, so he'll be able to go anywhere he wants. Now, there's reports coming out saying that he could go to Brooklyn, he could go to LA, obviously because of LeBron, China, or retirement. What is more likely to happen to Melo?
Man, as much as I want Melo to stay in the league, I think Melo's done, man. I really do think he's done. I don't think the Lakers are going to take a chance to go pick this guy up. I really don't. Brooklyn might take a chance just because Brooklyn is a growing, developing team. I really like the way they're playing right now. I just don't think Melo's enough. I think Melo will go to that young team and ruin them. They need to continue to just play how they play. Or he can just go to China. But I think his NBA days are done, man. I think he should make this his farewell year or come back next year and make it just his farewell year. If he says his farewell year and go back to Denver, you know what I'm saying? Go back to Denver. People will love him. Like, oh, no,
do you think Denver would actually take him back? Because right now, in the way Denver is rolling, I don't think they would want to mess up their chemistry for a guy that wants to be a starter.
Just let him have his farewell tour, like D-Wade. Just let him have a farewell tour. Just put him on the bench. Say, Melo, you can come back, but you got your farewell tour. We pitch you in 3 minutes. We get 3 minutes. You know what I'm talking about? So That's what I think. As long as he get a little farewell tour out of it, I think that'll be what's best for him. Because Melo is a good player. You know what I'm saying? He wasn't no scrub.
Which is the reason why I don't think he's going to be out the league. Now, I don't think he's going to go to the Lakers because I don't think he's in the Lakers plan right now. You know,
and we can't have Mike Beasley and Melo. No.
But the way Kentavious Caldwell-Pope and Brandon Ingram and Lonzo is out now, I think he could help right now because I think if there's one guy that can get him to calm down and see the big picture, that's LeBron. So, I think out of all these guys, Chris Paul, D Wade, and I think LeBron is the one guy that can bring him in and say, Melo, chill out. This is what we got. This is what we're looking towards. I don't think it's going to happen because I think what are you going to do with him next season when you try to get a max player? Although he's going to be playing for the veteran minimum, he only signed that deal in Houston for like $2 million, so they can do that. But they would. I don't see that happening. I don't see him going to China or retiring. He will play again in this league. Somebody will pick him up, and let's not forget the 10 games that he did play in Houston. It's not like he played terrible. He just didn't fit well with that team, and at the time, everybody was struggling. Chris Paul was struggling. James Harden was struggling. These guys paying, James Harden, $240 million. Chris Paul, $160 million. Clint Capella it seemed like he couldn't guard nobody. He getting paid $90 million, and everybody wanted to blame Melo for their struggles. Instead of saying, well, we did let go our defensive coordinator, or we did let go Trevor Ariza, or we did let go Luka Montemute. Of course, Melo wasn't going to replace these guys. So I think people put unfair expectations to Melo as if like he was going to help them play better defense. Because the Rockets were still scoring 90, 100 points when they were losing. They just couldn't stop anybody. And Melo's never been a defender. He never played defense. He's never played defense. So people put unfair expectations onto Melo, and when it wasn't working, when they were losing, it was easy to say, "Oh, see, it's Melo's fault. Why they wasn't doing this?" No, it's Daryl Morey's fault because he didn't want to pay Trevor Ariza. He didn't want to pay Luka Montemute because I think they would be playing. They would have been playing way better defense in the beginning, and they would have been better off had they not done that. So I'm with you. I don't think he plays for the Lakers, but I think he goes and plays somewhere. Brooklyn could use him right now. They're in 6th place in the East. Yeah. I think he can provide some veteran leadership, and he's back home in New York. So I think that'd be in his comfort zone.
Yeah, I definitely think it'll be in his comfort zone. I just don't know if Melo really has that veteran leadership, though. I don't know if he has it. Of course, he's a vet. But does he really? Because Melo hasn't won anything.
It goes back to the last conversation. Just because you're the best player don't mean you're necessarily a leader.
Yeah. And so he hasn't won anything. Well,
he won a national championship in college. That's impressive. He won what? How many gold medals he got?
Oh yeah, he got about 3. He stayed in the Olympics now. Olympic.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think whatever team he has to go to, whatever team he goes to, I think he has to dumb himself down. And I think right now he hasn't played any significant basketball. He hasn't played any real basketball in a very, very, very long time. As I stated earlier, he's only played 10 games. He only played 10 games all year. So he's missed about 30-something games. So I think he'll be eager to get back out on the court, and I think he'll be willing to accept any role that a team will give him. But that's all speculation. That's going to be it for today's show, guys. I appreciate you guys for tuning into the podcast, downloading the podcast. Continue to download the podcast. Leave us a rating, 5-star preferably. Bro, you want to take us out of here?
Oh, yeah. As always, I'm your co-host, OG Raw. You guys be nice, be kind to one another. Have a blessed day. OG Raw signing off.
See you guys tomorrow.